Good morning, fourth grade. So I have a question for you guys. Who knows what confidence is? Okay, let's see. Mia.
Confidence is when, it's kind of like a word that describes brave.
It's brave, okay.
You are not scared.
So, looking at Mia's answer about what self-confidence is to her, she described it as being brave. So, the way I could really take what we've learned from class and apply it to what Mia's trying to describe would be using Bandura's self-efficacy theory, because Bandura really went into the fact that in order to complete a task, you need to be able to be motivated to do so. So you really want to be able to organize and execute the course of action for that task. So it's pretty much getting yourself up and going, being able to do what you're needed to do. So I feel that in a way Mia's answer of bravery correlates to that concept closely, which is kind of interesting because us as grad students know that bravery is not really a term that we would always use to describe confidence, but for a fourth grader, they're pretty literal, I've learned, and that kind of really fits to probably what Mia is assuming confidence is.
Confidence is when you believe in yourself.
You believe in yourself. Who do you think has confidence?
Yourself. I think my brother Reed has confidence when he plays soccer because he's only 5 years old, but he plays against like 7-year-olds, and he still beats them.
So when listening to Amalia talk about her brother Reed, who, is 5 years old and he's playing against 7-year-olds, the first thing that came to my mind was Harder's competence motivation theory. The reason this can be applied to what she's describing as being confident is because based on what she's saying, I believe that Reed has a competence motivation factor, where as he increases in his performance and he's able to master more skills, his confidence is going to increase and he's going to continue to get better and better and better. So as Amalia was saying, he's only 5, but he's playing against 7-year-olds and he still beats them. So that would be a theory and concept that I could see applying to that. So again, a fourth grade answer being converted into a graduate student answer is something pretty interesting, especially when given an example such as Amalia's. What athletes can we name who have confidence? Tristan.
There's this basketball player named Derrick Rose. He's confident because all the time he goes and drives in to the paint while there's so many big people and he gets hit and everything.
Oh, Derek. Why?
But he still scores.
Okay, so he's an athlete with confidence? Yeah, Julius.
I think Julius Irving is confident because he always tries to dunk on people.
Does he always make it?
Yes, he does, because it's easy. And he doesn't have to have confidence, but he still has confidence.
I'm sorry, little Julius, I hate to burst your bubble, but Dr. J, otherwise known as Julius Irving, retired in 1987, so I don't think he's still dunking on people unless it's for fun. Sorry, kid. Hope you knew that. Well, as we have seen, the fourth graders have given us quite an interesting interpretation of what they believe makes up confidence. Tristan and Julius's last answer was actually what I expected. I believe that the kids really thought the athletes that they named were super confident because of their athletic skills. They, noted that the players were strong because they could dunk, or they were fast, or they were big, or they went up against opponents who, were maybe bigger than them. And I really expected them to say those kinds of answers. But another thing to add to professional athletes and their levels of motivation, I believe, are extrinsic motivators. So in order to improve confidence, you need something to drive you. And I think that most professional athletes rely on extrinsic motivation. Let's be honest, they don't go out and play for free. They want endorsements. They want people to notice and love them. They want social approval. They want praise. They want coaches to look at them and be like, you did it. You are a good member of this team. We need you. A lot of athletes play for, extrinsic motivation. They play for themselves and they play because they love the game, but there are other outside forces driving them to go. And that's something that Richard Cox even mentions in Chapter 3 that we can look into a little further. But it's just more than being a good athlete, and that's something the kids, haven't learned yet. And they will when they get older. But, comparing their level of education on this subject to ours is just so fascinating because they're so innocent in their answers. Whereas I'm, here talking about money driving athletes. They're talking about like being amazing at basketball, and that correlates to their levels of confidence. But thank you guys for listening, and I hope you learned a little bit from 4th grade, and I hope that, this gave a little different twist to levels of confidence. All right, bye.
What's wrong with being confident?